Hi, this is Weir with a roadside chat on February 26, 2017. This chat is going to be about the Oroville Dam. And there was an article on Before It's News talking about how because the dam is shaped like a sluice box, it is going to churn out all this amazing amounts of gold. And it was always planned to be a sluice box from the beginning. And some of the stuff is kind of entertaining. Some of it, there's a couple of videos here that he takes it way too seriously. And so before you grab your sluice box or your pan for mining gold, let's talk about this a little bit and to see what's closer to reality. I do believe that there will be a lot of gold found in California as the runoffs happen. Is this spillway a sluice box? No, it is not a sluice box. This is coming from someone who went gold mining once. Didn't find a thing, and it's very, very difficult to find on an individual basis, find gold in any of the rivers in California. Very difficult, but they're still out there trying, and some people are getting some gold, and it's really hard work. All I want to get out there is that the story can be misleading. You're not going to find billions of ounces of gold and change your life, so don't run out to California just yet. It might happen in the future when gold goes to $10,000, $20,000 an ounce. It might be well worth it. Even the flake will be worth a lot of money. But calling this dam the spillway a sluice box is completely confusing the idea of what a sluice box is. So I want to give you a quick idea of what a sluice box is and how it works. And there's a picture of a sluice box in there, but what he doesn't tell you in the video is that sluice boxes have a ripple system, and the ripple system is the part at the bottom that catches all the gold. What happens is you put all the aggregate, the dirt, the sludge, everything in the top. It runs through the sluice box. The gold is heavier. It'll drop to the bottom and get caught in this ripple system. And then the water and the larger rocks roll out the bottom, or they get discarded from the top. The spillway was not dumping sludge there wasn't sludge and dirt and rock dumped into the top of the spillway. It was only water. Water does not make it a sluice box at all, because you have to put all the aggregate in the top and it runs down, and then the gold gets caught in the ripple system below. I'm going to show you a video right now of it's a little portable, it's called a Grizzly Sluce 3. It's a sluice box. Anybody who wants to do personal gold mining, I heard this is a good one, so it's really hard work, but check out this video.
Welcome to Bare Bottom Mining's presentation of the operation of the Grizzly Sluce 3, the most portable and efficient sluice box available on the market for recreational and professional prospecting. The Grizzly Sluce 3 sets up on the side of the stream, not in the stream like every other sluice box on the market. This keeps you from getting wet, cold, and downright miserable in your search for gold, precious, and semi-precious stones. The Grizzly Sluce 3 sets up on a 12-degree slope on the side of the creek, with the top hopper being level. This assures proper operating efficiency. Start dumping your material in the top hopper of the Grizzly Sluce 3. You can either shovel or bucket your material into the top hopper. You can either collect your material off the sides of the stream, cracks in the bedrock of the stream, or crevicing cracks in the bedrock far above the stream. Wherever you collect your materials, the Grizzly Sluce 3 will make quick work of separating unwanted materials and saving every piece of coarse gold, especially all the fine gold particles that always seem to wash right back into the stream using other types of prospecting equipment. Start bucketing your water through the top hopper of the Grizzly Sluce 3, starting at the back of the top hopper and working forward with a side-to-side motion. Once you have washed all the material in the top hopper clean, you will know this has been accomplished when you see clean water running over the bottom riffle system and out of the box. Tip the hinge top hopper back to discard all unwanted material, such as rocks, roots, and grass. Now check the secondary Grizzly screen to see if there are any gold nuggets that are too large to wash down through the quarter-inch screen. Also check for large garnets, rubies, and sapphires, which we find every time we prospect in Montana. Once you have accomplished this process, return the top hopper to its closed position. You can either sweep the remaining overburden off with your hand, or vigorously dump a bucket of water through the top hopper when the top hopper is in its closed position. This will wash any remaining overburden off the back of the box without any danger of washing any of the gold out of the bottom riffle system. The material has now carried down over the bottom riffle system, where the material is segregated by specific gravity and engineered hydraulics. All other waste materials flow out of the box and harmlessly back into the stream. After several buckets of dirt have been processed by the Grizzly Sluce 3, you will easily be able to look down into the bottom riffle system and see the buildup of black sand on the back side of each riffle. Now is when it starts to get exciting. You should be able to easily see coarse and fine gold particles collecting with the black sand. Slide a gold pan under the bottom edge of the Grizzly Sluce 3. Unsnap the hinge riffle system. Raise the hinge riffle system. Hold the riffle system up with one hand and grab the retention material with your other hand. Slide it into the gold pan, which you have filled about 3/4 full of water. Now turn the retention material upside down and swish it back and forth gently in the water. Then tap the retention material lightly against the top of the water. This will dislodge any remaining gold particles caught in the retention material. Return the retention material back under the hinged riffle system and re-snap back into place. Now you can take the concentrates that are left in your gold pan and dump it in a black sand container and later go through it when you get home. The whole idea is to process as much material as you can while you're on your weekend prospecting expedition. There will be plenty of time to count nuggets once you get home. Congratulations! You have now successfully processed 20 times the material you would have by simply panning alone. There's plenty of gold and precious stones out there. It might as well be you that finds it. Good luck and good hunting.
So that was the one note on that video. You're not going to get that kind of return the first time you stick a sluice box in the water. That was obviously staged to get that amount of gold. But anything is possible, so hey, go for it. If you feel like doing, I think they're around $500. So if you're feeling like being a gold miner, your back will break and you're not going to find that kind of gold out there. You could. I'm not saying you won't. Anyway, so that the whole idea is the article made certain statements, and I'm like, this is ridiculous. And because I know it's in Cliff High's data that there will be a huge rush towards gold mining in the very near future, I just want to make sure that you guys know that there's a lot of, there'll be a lot of excitement, just like in the mid 1800s. There'll be a lot of excitement, but it's not an easy thing to do. And with gold prices at $1,200, it usually is not worth it. Now things change, and with gold prices at $10,000 or $20,000, I think you could see a lot of people rushing into it. But is the Oroville Dam issue part of this? Is the spillway a sluice box? No, the spillway is obviously not a sluice box. The spillway, you didn't dump any aggregate into the top and run it down. You just dumped water down. But the fact is that the hole happened and the water kicked out the side of the spillway, and then the emergency spillway was pulling rock off the top of the mountain. Yeah, it's highly likely that there's some gold in there, and it's I don't know. It's not the kind of quantities that I think are being imagined here. For example, this is from like the list of facts about the spillway article. It says millions of cubic yards of virgin soil and bedrock are being displaced below the Oroville Dam. I don't think it's millions of cubic yards, truthfully. Not even close to millions of cubic yards. If the dam isn't fixed and they have to erode the side of the mountain, yeah, it could be. But no, it's not at the moment. And the Earth has never seen the light of day. True. The amounts of earth moved rival the all-time operations during the gold rush years in the 1800s. I don't know where he gets that data, but yeah, it might be true because they didn't have the kind of technology we have now, and this isn't exactly aimed at a seam of gold. It's just running out the side of the spillway. Several workers were fired for posting pictures on the spillway online. That's true. That is a fact. So I do think there are nefarious things going on as to why these workers were fired just for taking pictures. Part of it, the government would claim we don't want to cause panic, and if it's worse than what we're telling people. We don't want any pictures up there. That's more likely the reason why they were fired. Not that there were huge veins of gold that are shining in the sunlight. The spillway is designed exactly like a giant sluice box. It is not designed at all like a giant sluice box. It is designed like a spillway for water, not for rock, not for aggregate. Only water runs down, and you saw in the video how a sluice box works. So that's just completely wrong. Water will continue to destroy the mountainside and expose new earth well into the summer of 2017. Well, possibly. If there is more storm. Right now, the lake is 56 feet below the top, so they're not having to use the spillway. The spillway is still ongoing because they want to get it as low as possible for the next set of storms. But it is not currently destroying the mountainside, so I'm not so sure about that comment. Gold will accumulate just downstream of the spillway in cracks and veins. Probably whatever was on the side of the mountain in that specific spot, some of it will be gold and some of it will go downstream. Will it be a lot? I highly doubt it. But anything is possible. And if the entire dam goes, billions of dollars worth of gold will be unearthed. I don't know. Nobody knows, and to say that's kind of misleading. If the question won't be gold if the dam goes. It'll be the destruction of all the towns below the dam and the destruction of the levee system in California and the California aqueduct. And yeah, that would be much bigger deal than finding all this gold. And I am the first one to say there are many huge gold finds all around the world. And would the government be using this one to get at the gold? I doubt it. They've had gold at Chocolate Mountain for 2 decades now. They've had gold in the Grand Canyon for over 100 years. So no, I don't think this would be a big deal operation. Just for getting the gold. I don't think that at all. And then some more stuff, which is actually pretty cool to look at. Lake Oroville is the site of a submerged gold mine of Bidwell Bar. That's not true, actually. Bidwell Bar is about 6.5 miles above the Oroville Lake. So it feeds into Oroville Lake, and it was abandoned after, I think, about 10 years of mining it because they weren't getting enough gold out of there. And it was one of the first to begin mining in the gold rush. Not sure about the Maydew Indians. I don't think they probably weren't tricked into trading gold because they didn't value gold the way the West valued gold. It's kind of like when all the Spanish went down to Peru and everybody said, no, they stole all their gold. Well, they didn't really value gold the way that the Spanish did. So the Indians probably got great stuff that they thought it was of equal or better value when they traded for gold. King Juba, over Port of Ophir. Yes, and yes, Solomon did go somewhere to get a lot of gold. Was it there? No, I think it was the Grand Canyon. And there's a lot of evidence that points to the Grand Canyon was a lot more water around there, especially with the tunnels and the sides of the hills you can't even get to anymore. So yeah, I think the King Solomon mines were in the Grand Canyon. Oroville was originally named Ophir City after the gold port of Solomon in North Africa. I wouldn't doubt it. There was a lot of cities named after gold-related things. Yuba is the Berber pronunciation of King Juba. Now, Yuba City is about 30 miles south of Lake Oroville, so I don't know why that is of huge importance. And then there's more relation to gold, and then it takes it a little further. Is state-sponsored Freemason gold mining at the expense of taxpayers and public safety now underway? I would say no. They have plenty of gold. They don't need to divert a dam and destroy the side of a mountain to get gold. There's other reasons they may be destroying that mountain, but it's not for the gold. The heavily guarded, media censored spillway and stretches of river beneath it may yield billions of dollars of gold as tons of rock and sediment have been dislodged from the mountainside. That's a big statement. Where do you get billions of dollars in gold from what happened so far, at least, at the spillway? I don't see it at all, and I don't think they're hiding anything nefarious as far as gold mining. As soon as the water levels subside this summer, let the California gold rush begin. That's possible because there's a lot, all the streams and dams are completely full, and then as they run down, yes, new gold will be exposed. I think the new California gold rush would more be instigated with a price of gold at $10,000 or $20,000 an ounce, because gold mining will be still very hard. You're not going to walk around and pick up, nuggets of gold. The video of the Grizzly Sluce 3, I'll guarantee you that was primed with all that gold dust and the little nuggets. I'm not saying you can't get gold out of the rivers and stuff, and people do it, and it's backbreaking work, and it's hard to make a living doing that unless you get lucky, and luck comes into it. But don't run off to California just yet. Maybe a $20,000 an ounce gold, it might be worth breaking your back to do. But according to this article, the state will most certainly pick clean the off-limits areas, but you can bet that further downstream there will be gold to be had. I don't know. That's a bold statement, and the billions of dollars worth of gold, it wouldn't be just from the leakage of the side of the spillway. That's not enough, most likely, unless it's the richest gold vein in the world, and billions of dollars are lying there to be picked up. So don't get too excited about this video, and I may be wrong. This may turn out to be one of these hidden gold mines in the United States, and I've identified 3 or 4 of them, and they're gigantic with billions of dollars worth of gold. This one, it sounds more like a guess. There might be billions of dollars worth of gold, and don't spend your life savings on a Grizzly Sluce 3 unless you want to be outside and enjoy some. Not a lot of money. It wouldn't be life savings. They're like $500, I think. But it is fun for the family. You go out there and you find a lot of fool's gold and rocks that the kids like and they'll keep. And once in a while you get a nugget or some flakes, and hopefully a full day's worth of work, back-breaking work. If you're into that and you want to do that, go for it. Have a day. But based on this article, I wouldn't jump out and start panning gold. And I don't even have far to drive. It's like 90 miles to get to the point they're talking about. And I haven't gone anywhere. Now, if it was silver, Bitcoin mining, I might go. But no, not gold. So that's what I wanted to say about that article. And it's the Roadside Chat for February 26th. Oh, I should have put the date on the screen. February 26th. I'll talk to you guys later.